Welcome to a realm where personal growth meets expansive spirituality and where we're not just scratching the surface. We're diving deep, widening our perspectives, and having a darn good time doing it. This is the Enlighten Podcast, and I am your host, Jen Hamilton. You'll enjoy an infusion of motivation, empowerment, and inspiration that will resonate in every aspect of your life. Expect captivating stories, heartfelt musings, and my own personal experiences. But that's not all. I'm bringing awe-inspiring individuals to the table, so get ready to meet some remarkable souls whose wisdom and stories will leave you spellbound. No topic is off limits here. Brace yourself for raw authenticity, unfiltered vulnerability, and yes, the occasional splash of explicit language. We're delving into the realms of the esoteric, mystical, and the woo-woo, unafraid to explore the extraordinary. So if you are ready to venture beyond the surface, to explore the depths of your soul, and to awaken the magic of life, if your heart says yes, then hit that play button and let the Enlighten Podcast guide you on this remarkable expedition. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Enlighten Podcast. I am your host, Jen, here with a Soul'o Snippet. And today I was reminded something in my Facebook memories of all things from 4 years ago that popped up. And I want to share that today because it's got a really, really powerful message in it. So 4 years ago, I was in Sydney in Australia doing my study for Theta healing. I've done quite a few of the modules of Theta healing, and it's such a beautiful modality. I don't actually use Theta healing as a single offering or modality in my work, but it very much flows through in my coaching and hypnotherapy practice that I have and a lot of the energy healing stuff that I do. And I absolutely love this modality because it's just it's almost like a warm hug. It's very comforting. So one of the things that I learned in my training 4 years ago is I was having this epiphany happening during one of the exercises where we had to work with a partner. And there's this part of the theta healing process that's called digging. And I do this with all of my clients. We dig down and we dig down and we dig down until we find the root cause of the issue that we're trying to work with. And I was having this experience where I would go to bed at nighttime, and as soon as I lay down, put my head on the pillow, my mind would just start racing. I would be going through all of the things that were happening during the day. I'd be going through all of the things that were bringing me anxious thoughts. I'd be going through all of the things that were just taking up too much space in my mind. And I couldn't understand why this was only happening at bedtime for me. So when I dug down and I dug down and I dug down, I found what it was. And it has been such a profound, this is probably like one of the biggest awakenings I've had and something that I use with my clients all the time. What I figured out was when I was younger and my parents, who were doing an amazing job of parenting, they did what they did with what they had and what they knew and based on what they were taught when they were growing up. So there was times that I would, perhaps get in trouble for, let's be honest, being a little shit. I would get sent to my room. And generally their words were, go to your room and think about what you've done wrong. So I would go to my room, I would lie in my bed, which was my safe space, and I would think about all the things that I've done wrong because it's normal for us to do exactly what our parents say. So this then became a habit. I then created an association with my bed and lying down to think about all the things that I'd done wrong. So that was happening in my childhood years. Fast forward until my 30s, and it still had been going on for so long. And I realized that the association that I had created as a child meant that throughout my entire life, my whole process of going to bed was lying down, thinking about what I'd done wrong. So as soon as I found that association, I was like, right, I get to see it and I get to heal it. So what I did is I took that idea or that concept of I have to think about what I've done wrong. I acknowledged the fact that it had been that way. I forgave my parents for any anger and resentment I was holding towards them for essentially conditioning me to think that way. Like I said, I don't hold it against them. It's just the way in which they were parented, they were taught, and then, passed things down the line. I was then able to start to make a conscious effort every time I lay down in bed to think about things that I was grateful for, or think about things that were working for me, or put on a meditation that was going to take me through a visualization to help me get to sleep in the most positive way possible. And honestly, since then, in the last 4 years, I have been sleeping so well. Like, I love my sleep. I fall asleep very quickly. And it's not often I experience anything, like insomnia, unless I've had a coffee in the afternoon or times that I can't sleep, because I know that it's so important to get a good night's sleep. And I know how easy it is to be able to fall asleep when your mind is in a beautiful place. Now, there's often times where we have stressful things happening in our lives, which are outside of our control, which we have to kind of ruminate over to be able to figure out a solution to. And yes, sometimes that happens right before bed, because that's when the house is quiet, everything is quiet. It's when we're just about to switch off and realize, hang on a second, I haven't finished thinking about the thing that I'm supposed to be thinking about over and over again. So sometimes the best thing to do is just have a journal beside your bed, write it down and pick it up again in the morning. Another option is having your phone near you, creating a little voice memo to yourself that you can listen to in the morning with all of the things that you were worried about the night before, that you can just pick it up then and get on with life and deal with it then. So I want you to have a little think back. Was there any time in your life as a child growing up that perhaps a parent or a caregiver or someone said to you anything about going to your room because you've been naughty, anything about going to your room and thinking about what you've done wrong, anything about being reprimanded and being sent away, because then we've got, maybe some little abandonment issues going on underneath that? Or is there perhaps an association with going into your bed and hiding under the pillows or the covers because there's some fear there, because you're scared of something? Because all of that is creating an imprint, because the place that you go to feel safe has ultimately been violated. So perhaps this is an invitation to just check in with yourself, asking yourself, do I have any issues going to sleep? And is that the time where I start to have a bit of anxiety? Do I find that often my thoughts are running at a really, really fast rate and I struggle to get to sleep? Am I unable to drop off to sleep easily because that's the time that I feel really worried, or I start to make to-do lists in my head, or I start to think about all the things that I've done wrong during the day? So first of all, you want to get really, really clear on what the experience is like. You might just be like, nope, I just fall straight to sleep. I never had any of that kind of thing in childhood and I'm good to go. For other people, they're like, oh my God, this makes perfect sense as to why this happens in the evening every damn night. And I suggest writing this down, getting really clear on what's actually happening, and then start to dig down. Where did this come from? Keep asking yourself, when did I notice that it first started? Where do I feel like this was started happening in my life where it started making a difference? Has there been times where it's been different, or something in particular activates it or triggers it? And then once you've got it, or once you sort of keep digging down and you find, yep, I think I found the spot where it like stings a little bit, you want to also be able to create something that can move you out of that space. So you want to have a thought process, or an anchor as we call it, to take you out of that particular thought process and bring you into something else. So when you notice, if you're lying down in bed and you're going, oh my God, all the things that I've done wrong, all of the things that are making me feel anxious right now, if you know that you've got something else to go to, then that's going to bring you out of that state of mind and into something else. So for me, it's gratitude. I get so wildly grateful for everything that I have and everything that I'm experiencing in my life. And that's going to take me out of that previous energetic frequency of worrying about things and then realizing, hang on a second, none of that's actually true. I don't have to worry about these things. These things don't have to affect me, especially at this time of the night when I'm trying to rest. No, I don't have to ruminate on the things over and over and over again. I get to just experience gratitude and then the deepest of most beautiful sleep. So this was a game changer in my life. And it was also the invitation to start excavating other areas of my life where perhaps there was these certain conditions that were just ruminating over and over and over again in my subconscious. They weren't necessarily conscious until I brought them forward. That was having an effect on my life that wasn't in a supportive way. So this is an invitation for you to dig deep and find what it is that's potentially causing you any inner disharmony. Work with it, transmute it, pull yourself out of that. You are so capable, you are so conscious. All you have to do is just dive deep and do the work. Anyway, you ridiculously good looking human, thank you so much for being on this journey with me and tuning into this solo snippet. If you would like extra ongoing support with this, please feel free to reach out to me through my website, www.jenhamilton.coach, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enlighten podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.